Time for another cognitive biases video. You know, it's a wonder that we're even able to function with all these problems in our thinking. And me, I'm just out here trying to function like E40. So let's take another bias or two and dig into it and root out the bad stuff and figure out how we can circumvent it to create more opportunities and synergistic union and more corporate jargon. But first off, if you haven't already, make sure you sign up for that FOMO trading guide, because this is one of those cognitive biases that you need to figure out. I need to figure it out every so often too, because it comes and it gets you and you need some tools to defend against it. And this is exactly what this free guide is going to give you. So go ahead and click that link up above in this video or down below in the comments, wherever. Throw in your email on that page and I will send it straight over. All for free, very useful, very orange. Okay, so let's dive into it, just like this anchor, because we're talking about the sunk cost fallacy and loss aversion. But what represents the sunk cost fallacy better than an anchor? Nothing. And you guys know I'm still using this same macro ops article, which I will also link to somewhere. Definitely check that out. All right, so the sunk cost fallacy is continuing an effort because of all the resources you previously invested into that effort, like time, money, effort itself, even when the optimal decision is to stop. But you don't want to stop because you have that sunk cost. You already put this much into it. If you stop now, all of that will go to waste. Your mind focuses too much on what already happened and it can't look at the future properly. It can't analyze properly. It's too tainted. So an example is getting full at dinner. And even though you're full and the food might taste bad, you just keep eating because you don't want to waste that good money that you paid for it. That's stupid. That's the sunk cost fallacy. So think about how this relates to trading. Why is it that people don't cut their losses? Well, one of the reasons is because they spent so much time developing a thesis. They did all this research and calculations and they got to use Excel a whole bunch and everything looks real pretty and they got a pitch book. So after doing hours and hours and days and weeks and months of work, they don't want to sell an investment even if it is losing, because in their mind they're trapped on the fact that they spent all this time researching it. If they get out of the investment, it's a complete waste. That is the sunk cost fallacy. Obviously that doesn't make any sense, because if you're holding on to a loser because of the time and effort you put into it, well, that loser can turn into an even bigger loser and you can lose more and more, and eventually you could lose so much that it's going to way outweigh the amount of effort and time you put into making the decision in the first place. So it's dumb to let that idea of how much work you put into something determine how it's performing now. How much work you put into something does not mean it's going to work out. Like, think about your ex-girlfriend or boyfriend. How much work did you put into those relationships for them to just not work out? Or maybe you didn't put any work into it at all. I don't know. Bad example. But here's the reason why putting all that work into an investment thesis isn't a complete loss. Because everything you learned and all that research you did, that is going to come in handy later. So in macro ops, there's a lot of positions that we do extensive research on, but we end up cutting it. Now, was all that research a waste? No, because we learned a lot about the industry that that company is in. And now we got our eye on that investment. So if it turns good again from a technical standpoint or whatever, we can jump back in. And it's a lot easier the second time because you already did all the research. Or just in general, you learned a bunch of stuff in that experience that you can apply to other companies down the line that you're analyzing. So that sunk cost isn't really a sunk cost. You can't just hold on to it. Like, you can't hold on to a relationship that's dead. You can't just sit there and cry while that person is just walking away. You gotta pick yourself up, man. Stop being so pathetic. But anyway, another closely related fallacy is loss aversion, which is the tendency to strongly prefer avoiding losses to acquiring equivalent gains. The pain of losing greatly overwhelms the pleasure of gaining. So marketers use loss aversion all the time. Like, which headline would make you want to buy more? Buy our insurance and save $100 a month? Or you're losing $100 a month on insurance, buy ours and save. The second one works a lot better because the thought of losing $100 is much more powerful than the thought of just saving it. Everyone's a miser. No one wants to lose a penny. Hurts too much. That is loss aversion. So think about how that relates to trading. When someone is down on a position, they don't want to get out of it, because as soon as they get out of it, those paper losses are going to turn into real losses. Because you can always hold out for that hope, like, oh, it might come back. But that's stupid. You know, that's how things get out of control. You got to stick to your plan. You got to stick to your risk control. But loss aversion makes that hard. No one wants to face reality when it comes to a loss, even if he or she is a terrible person. And I know this example is getting more and more stretched. I'm running out of ideas. And loss aversion is a reason why people can't take volatility in the market. Even with paper losses, people can't see their account getting drawn down. So that's why I always say, when you see a system that says it can make this huge amount amount in a short amount of time, that system, even if it's true and it's not a scam, it's likely to have a ton of volatility, which is why most people can't actually execute on that system. That pain of that up and down is a lot. I mean, me too, I could only take so much volatility. I prefer lesser volatility, really, because it's just less stress. But loss aversion is what makes it so stressful. But once again, the solution to something like the sunk cost fallacy and loss aversion is simply just sticking to your trading plan, because all these thoughts are going to happen, right? You can't stop them from happening. And the point isn't to stop them. You could have them, it's okay. But even if you have them, you got to ignore them, because you got to stick to the rules that you laid out for yourself. That's the thing that you keep going back to and only executing on that. Now, if you don't have that, if you don't have a trading plan and trading rules, that's when you're going to get into trouble, because you're going to listen to all these cognitive biases kick in, and then you're going to do the wrong thing over and over again, and you're going to lose. So the solution, have a trading plan. Now, there are some more biases that we're going to go over. So if you want to see those videos, then make sure you subscribe to this channel and hit that bell for an email notification when they come out. We're publishing 7 days a week, so we will release them soon. In the meantime, stay fallible out there. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.